Hello, lovely student. Today we're going to be looking at part 2 of our lessons on the section decision making. And I'm going to pay specific reference to if-else statement. The syntax for the if-else statement: if the condition is true, it will execute the if code. If the condition evaluates to false, it will go into the else and it will execute the else code. Note that when you're using an else statement, there's no semicolon before an else statement. There's only a semicolon at the end of an else statement. The flow chart for an if-else statement: if this condition is true, it will go down and execute the if code. If the condition is false, it will go into the else and execute code in the else block. I'm now going to go on to a Delphi program on the Delphi IDE. I'm on my Delphi IDE, and it is the previous example that I used in part 1 of decision making, where I checked if the number entered is positive. Now, using the if statement, it was extremely limited because it was just telling me if that number was positive, I displayed a message. But what about if I also wanted to do something if that condition is not met? So let's look at how I can modify this program if that condition is not met. So I'm going to put in an else statement. I'm going to put in an else statement. Get used to using a begin and an end. And I'm going to put in a message. The message I could add is number is negative. Okay, here I'd like to change it, number is positive. Okay, now the reason why you're getting this error is because before an else, I need to take out the semicolon. Now your program will work. So now it has a two-way stream of choices to make. If the number entered, stored in a variable called inum, is greater than 0, then it will display the if code. Number is positive. If the condition to be tested in the if here is less than 0, it'll go into the else and it'll display number is negative. Now I do have an alternative choice. So either way, whether it goes into the if, it'll display number is positive and it'll go into goodbye. If it's false, it'll go into else, it'll display number is negative, and then it will display goodbye. So let's run it and see what happens. I'm going to enter a number. Let's enter 14. Check if the number is positive, and it displays number is positive. Okay, so it checks if inum is greater than 0 and the user entered 14, 14 is greater than 0, it'll go into the if and it'll display number is positive. Okay, and then it will go to the end out of the if-else block, and it will display goodbye. If I had to enter a negative number, so let's enter -10, and I click check if it's positive, it'll display number is negative. So it's going to go into the if, and inum is -10, and it's going to test if -10 is greater than 0. It's not greater. It then goes into the else block, and it's going to display number is negative. If I click OK, it's now going to then display, after the if else block, it's going to display goodbye. I'm going to do another little test case where I'm going to test if the number is even or odd. So using the same integer number, okay, let's quickly do it. I'm going to create a variable again called inum, and inum is of data type integer. And I'm getting that number from a t-edit. So it's going to be string to int, and I'm getting that number from your t-edit, edt, control and space bar, and you can click it, and you can say dot text. So in this one, I'm going to check if inum mod 2 equals 0. So what mod will do, it's going to check if the number entered mod 2, if the remainder is 0, it's going to display a message. So always get used to putting your begin and your end. And I want to display a message and the message could be number is even. Now if I want to go into an else statement, do not forget, I need to take out the semicolon and else. Do not forget, get used to putting the begin and end. Show message. Number is odd. Now at the end of your if else block, you can have a statement, you can have any statement. I'll keep it as show message goodbye. Okay, so let's run this and see what this segment does. Okay, so enter an integer number, and I'm going to enter 25. So when I entered 25, it told me number is number is odd. So inum is 25. 25 mod 2. 2 can go into 25 12 times. My remainder is 1. So because my remainder is not 0, it didn't go in here in the if section, in the if code. It went into the else, and it displayed number is odd. I just want to run that program again. So let's just go run. Okay, so again, if I entered 25 and I said check even odd, it displayed number is odd, and I clicked on OK, it displayed goodbye. So 25 mod 2 equals 0, The statement evaluated to false because the remainder was 1 and not 0. So it went into the else, it displayed number is odd, and then it displayed goodbye. So let's see if I if I entered 20, what would it do now? Check if the number is even or odd. Number is even. The number entered was 20. inum has a value of 20. 20 mod 2. 2 can go into 20 10 times. My remainder is 0. And because my remainder is 0, mod gives you the remainder, and the remainder is equal to 0. It will then go into the else statement and it will display number, If inum mod 2 equals 0 and the number entered was 20, it's going to go 20 mod 2. Yes, my remainder is 0, and then it's going to display number is even. And then it's going to hit the end and it's going to display goodbye. I now have an exercise that I'm going to ask you to do. And I'd like you to do this exercise. And on my next video, I will present a solution. All right. So your exercise is that you're going to write a Delphi program that enters the price of an item purchased. Your program is going to calculate the discount amount and the final amount owing. If the item cost is less than 500, the discount is 5%. Otherwise, the discount is 10%. Your program must display purchase price, the discount, and the final amount. All values must be formatted to 2 decimal places with currency. I have an exercise sample output for you to test when you are doing your program, and you could use the element and the properties to create your GUI. Hint: to display with currency in 2 decimal places, you must use float to string F. Thank you, learners, for listening. Goodbye.